Hey, good morning. Welcome to Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, we've got quite a few things happening on YouTube at the moment, and in the world. A lot is all centered around the internet, because the internet has become our everyday thing. At one time, in my early childhood, they said it was the best thing since sliced bread, but now has to be the best thing since cell phones. Do you know anybody that doesn't have a cell phone? I see that people living here on dirt floor nipa huts have a cell phone. Everybody needs to be in touch. Do you remember when people used to have fixed telephones in their house? They would have one in most rooms, in the family room, in the kitchen, in the garage, and they would have them all over the place so that they could keep in touch. Now, nobody has it. I don't know anybody that has a telephone that is fixed. I remember when they used to have a dial, and you turned the dial and then it came back, and you turned it again and it had numbers on it and letters. Things have changed so much. Well, things are changing right now, and in some ways it will be bad if it goes through, and in some ways it will, obviously, nothing is ever all bad. That must be obvious to most people. But 5G is going to produce some effects on us which we are really not going to welcome. 5G is going to have to up the power needed by 1,000 times. This is what I'm reading anyway. So 1,000 times. In order to do that, they're going to have these antennas, and they're going to have to be placed, apparently, on my information, what I read, the article I read, every 100 meters. So they're going to just be all over the place. Well, what good will they be? Well, you'll have chips. Everybody will have chips. I would be very surprised if they're not already putting chips into babies right now in certain parts of the world. I saw a company that had actually embraced the idea of a chip, and people had gone along and offered their hand, and they'd had a little chip put in there, and it hardly felt like anything at all, and it was injected in, for heaven's sake. So how big could it have been? So a baby would not even know it was there, and then they'd be able to program that, and even maybe at some point in the far, or maybe not so far future, they'd be able to change people's behavior. Now that's a scary thought, isn't it? Digital money will come in, and then once you have digital money, the government have total control, because they would be able to instruct the bank to stop your account, and they would be able to do that without even, well, without any reservation at all. In America right now, it is digitalized to the extent that some people cannot get paid unless they have a bank account that ties you into the bank. If you start thinking in terms of chips, then some people who are extremely biblical or religious might call that the mark of the beast. And in the Bible it actually says that you will not be able to buy or sell unless you have the mark of the beast. Well, that would mean you would not be able to buy or sell. Well, you certainly wouldn't be able to buy, because they could cut your money off. And when you go in there, and like the company that had embraced the chip had made it so that it was very convenient for the employees. They could come up to the front door and offer their hand up like this, and the door would open, the lock would open, they'd be able to come in, be able to go to the confectionery kiosk and just offer their hand up, and the chip would deduct their wages or possibly their bank account. Who knows? But this is all tying in with a lot of other exciting things that are happening. Suddenly, cyberbullying is now being given the attention that it should have been for a long time, because especially in America, as far as I know, kids have been killing themselves because of bullying. And it's very easy, if you have a cell phone, to bully. And unless it is stopped, then we all suffer a great degree of harassment. Which brings me to the next word, harassment. Now, YouTube are getting in on this, and they are now going to stop people harassing people. So creators, which is the grand title that's given to people like me and all the other people that you watch who do this kind of work, are not going to be able to be harassed. And there will be a way of complaining about the harassment. Now here's where all of the bad guys who use the internet so cleverly are actually leaving a footprint. They're leaving the marks. It's like they've walked along in the sand on the beach, and you can even see how many toes they've got. So all of it is there, and once an investigation is put into action, then everything that people have done, they will be accountable for. Meantime, there are other ways of amassing the evidence. You can record anything that is put on your computer. Let's face it, you're not even, I mean, look how small this is. An old iPhone that the battery's gone bad, and we haven't quite got round to replacing it. You can do everything on this. I was doing everything that I'm doing right now. I was checking everything with this. The only reason that I didn't use this for videoing was because it went out of sync after about 5 minutes, and some of the videos that I do are a lot more than 5 minutes. Well, certainly every time I open my mouth it's for more than 5 minutes, right? I'm the first one to admit. So what's going to happen is that everything is there to both set you free and to hold you accountable. Now, you can go up with this little phone here when the battery is up, or with this phone here, right? And you can do screenshots, and you can hold the evidence then, and it's there. So when the time comes that if and when you wish to take action, well, you have no need to go and start trying to log in at the NBI or the FBI or whatever it is that you go, or YouTube. Well, YouTube already have everything, don't they? So that's going to set a lot of people free. It's going to give people back their lives. It's going to stop kids from killing themselves, because it will be so easy to actually register what is happening. So parents, if they keep an eye on, which they should be doing, they should be keeping an eye on what their kids are doing on their telephones, because they can be in touch with anyone in the world. On this simple device, I have people who get in touch with me from all over the world. Well, I remember when Lena was diagnosed with TB at one time. This is about 3 years ago. I had a consultation with a doctor in Israel. I have no idea who he was. A doctor. He messaged us and said, "I'm a doctor working at so-and-so hospital in Israel," and introduced himself and gave some recommendations as to what Lena could do. That's from Israel. Now, all over America, all over, I had one where somebody in Cyprus got in touch. I've had all kinds of, Russia, everywhere that it's possible to communicate from, people are communicating. And all of it is being recorded. That's the bad side. Now, a long time ago, when they were talking about what the code should be for the language that the computer goes into, they were talking about the fact that some companies wanted to have their own private code. I think that they actually do now. It can be encrypted, or I'm not a computer tech, by the way, so forgive me if I'm blundering around here like an amateur. That's what I am. But they wanted to be able to have their own private secret code for their own business. And I remember Clinton at the time saying, well, I mean, it's the government. We are for the people. I mean, it's not like we would do anything to harm you, is it? No, Mr. Clinton, Mr. President, it's not, is it? Absolutely. You've got me believing you. Right. So, things are changing. Once you go on, you can actually go online and you can say whatever you want. You can do it under the guise of a name. For myself and Beth, we are totally transparent. Everybody knows what our name is. Everybody knows our history. Our lives are open books. But those others who don't wish to be known, they're talking from the bushes, you know. They're secret. They have their own ID. They launch their whatever it is that they're posting from behind a closed door. They don't have to be accountable. That's for the moment. But it will come. It's coming now. It's coming soon. Because if you go online, try this, don't take my word for this, go online and go onto Google or go onto Facebook, not Facebook, go onto YouTube. Go onto YouTube and type in harassment. And then look at what comes up. There are so many videos now on harassment who are by people who are quite clever at the computer and know what they're doing, and they are giving instructions on how to one video that I saw last night said how to harass or harassing the harassers. Not terribly good English, is it? But you understand what I'm trying to say. So all of the instruction you need to be able to fight back is all there. So, if you have a kid who is being harassed, if you have a business which is being harassed, the time is coming when it will be payback. And if people who may be accusing you of all kinds of stuff cannot substantiate their claims, then they will be subject to investigation themselves, and maybe sooner than they think. It will be up to you. You need to know, you need to have some advice on this, you need to know how to do it. Just go on YouTube, it's all there. Help is finally coming. So, let's drink to an end to the harassment situation, which is so prevalent at the moment. Let's look at the fact that there is now an active cyberbullying department, cyber crimes. Yes, cyber crimes. It will eventually even probably get out of hand. You won't be able to pick your nose without being accused of something, and it's not far off that right now. I think that we all know this. So thanks for looking in, and I probably will do more videos on this because it is so prevalent. The latest high profile was what seemed like a boy suffering from dwarfism. And the second story that came out on this boy is that he was not such a boy. He was a 19-year-old. Don't know whether this is true or not, but he was actually an actor, and certainly he did a very good job, because even people like Jackman, the Australian actor, actually made a point of messaging and saying, we're on your side, you know, don't give up, don't be afraid of the bullying. So a lot of people were taken in by that, and it's coming to an end. And then it will be payback time. It will. There's no question about that, because you actually be able to hold people accountable. Now, very recently, the president of the Philippines actually took somebody to court, took an action against, I think it was a channel called Rappler, and Rappler had apparently said something derogatory about the president, which constituted libel, and the president successfully took a case against them. It's now become impossible. It used to be impossible because you couldn't trace anybody, but now it's actually much, much easier, and all of those things that they used against the creators are now going to come back on them. Thanks for looking in. Sorry if it's a little bit serious, but sometimes life is. Thanks for looking. Don't forget to, if you can, and that's going to come back soon, comment and subscribe and share. Bye for now.